suffering, death.
Tell me about yourself, Miss Miller. What do you do for a living?
Oh, I'm hungry. Need to eat. Have you got something for me? Blood, perhaps? Can you give me blood, Dr. Reed?
Don't you remember who you are, miss? What you did for work?
I was strong, proud. I campaigned for good causes. But that was before. Before. It does not matter anymore. I'm so hungry.
I must go now. Goodbye, Miss Miller.
Ô, Pinóia, fiquei no meu lugar, mano. Tiro de chim, cacete.
They won't approach.
I must go now. Goodbye, Miss Miller.
Você entendeu o que aconteceu aqui ainda, mano? Nada, sangue, nada. Sei lá se é por aqui ou se não é. Oh, Jesus! Mano, eu não tô conseguindo encontrar a Emily, cara. Engraçado que não tem uma casa aqui, velho.
Good evening, Miss Ashley.
And good evening to you, Dr. Reed.
What are you doing out here?
You mean, what do I do outside at night since I am a woman? Let me ask you a question, sir. Would you ask the same question of a man?
Actually, yes. I ask the same question to everyone who dares to go outside at night. Considering
well,
if you must, I campaign for the right to vote for all women. Why should I wait to the age of 30 years when men can vote at 21?
Tchau, velho. Não tenho paciência.
Goodbye, Charlotte.
Deixa eu ir lá correndo.
Give my best regards to your mother when you see her.
She's been quite busy these last few nights. I suspect you may see her before me.
Eu tô encontrando a casa da Emily, mano. Fala que é ali, mas ali não tem encontrando nada. Preciso de um lugar pra passar por aqui, mano. Aqui. errado, mano. Caraca, consegui, mano. Porra, mano, explodiu, velho. Um cara aqui e um cara lá ainda. Subir aqui, vou entrar. Ah, deixa eu analisar o sangue daquela pinóia lá. Ah, não, tem analisador de sangue não, ok. Deixa eu fazer isso aqui.
Dear daughter, how are you today? How is your sweet boy?
Ah, a mãe dele.
Mother, good evening.
Jonathan! Is it you? Where have you been, my prodigal son?
I'm right here, Mother. I'm finally home.
Yes, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and now found. But where is your sister? Where is Mary?
Mary? She is gone, Mother.
I know she's gone. The question is, when will she return as you have? I miss my grandson so much. It's been days since their last visit.
Do you need anything, Mother? Can I help you?
I just want you to stay with me, Jonathan. Your room is ready. I asked Avery to make your bed.
I'll stay as long as I can, I promise. Do you need anything else?
Just one thing. Stop staring at me like that. As much as I love you, it breaks my heart to look at those empty and dead eyes.
Caraca, que pesado.
Are you working on a new painting?
Not recently. I have trouble focusing on my subject and my mind quickly drifts. It's the same thing when I try to write poetry.
I recently met a talented painter with an excellent technique. I wish you two could meet. I'm sure you'd like her.
I'd be glad to meet her. What is her name? Is she famous? Is she dead too?
She's not famous, and her name is of no importance. And yes, she is also dead.
The important thing is, I hope you two get along. If she ever fancies meeting your mother, I'd be glad to welcome her into my home.
Deu uma pista com a minha mãe, blá blá blá, sobre a família. Está dizendo que a Mary a visita?
Why do you say Mary is visiting you, Mother? You know that's impossible.
Why should it be? Are you not standing in front of me right now? Why should it be any different with your sister?
But Mary really is dead, Mother.
Yes. And are you not dead too? Isn't your father dead? And my grandson? And my son-in-law? You're all gone. But you all still visit me from time to time.
Porra!
But I'm not dead, Mother. I'm really here, talking to you, trying not to cry.
Oh, it breaks my heart to have to tell you this. But of course you're dead, my darling boy. Just look at you, as pale as my Mary.
Porra, velho.
Have you returned to Whitechapel Cemetery since Mary's funeral?
I never want to go back to that awful place. Wait. I think I went back once.
Sua orelha, né?
And you were
Eu sou
there
filho de
too.
Deus.
And Mary? No, that can't be true.
It was just a bad dream, Mother.
A nightmare, yes. Mary was so angry. I walked back home alone. If that kind policeman had not called Avery from the station, I don't know what would have happened.
Ah, porra, mano. Ficando pior.
Mother, do you know what's been going on in this area?
Not really. I don't go out much due to the epidemic, and when I do, I tend to get lost.
What do you mean you get lost? I hope you don't go outside alone.
Of course not. When I go out, your father always comes with me, but he leaves me there sometimes, and I have trouble finding the way back.
Tipo assim, mãe, desde quando você convertiu com os mortos, pô?
Goodbye, Mother. Try to rest now.
Goodbye, son.
Tipo assim, desde quando você conversa com os mortos, mãe? Tirando eu, que sou um vampiro, pô. Casa grande da bexiga, mano. Porta destrancada. Olha que tem que eu tenho.
I remember Sunday walks in the park.
Nova investigação, nova jornada. Bracelete, din-din. Caraca, velho. Vamos descer então. Chinês e pó de alumínio. As linhas de dinheiro podem passar inteira a minha impressão isso. Vamos ver, tem um cara, um senhorzinho mondono.
Mr. Jonathan, I can't believe my own eyes. Oh, it's a miracle. We all thought you were... Oh, sir, your poor sister. What a tragedy.
I know, Avery. I know about my sister's murder.
Miss Reed expected you to return to assist with the funeral, right up until the last minute. Where have you been, Mr. Jonathan? We needed you here.
Tá trabalhando.
I found an old letter written by my father and addressed to me. Do you know anything about it, Avery?
Your father wanted me to give you this letter for your 35th birthday. but you left for the war, and the letter remained in his office until tonight.
I realize now you knew my father better than I did. Do you know why he left, Avery? Did he ever speak to you about his departure?
No, sir. Mr. Reed was not exactly forthcoming. Perhaps this letter will give you the information you require.
Isso é bom, você não leu minha carta. Chato.
How is my
Programa
mother?
das minhas
Not
perguntas
well,
pra
I'm
ele, vamos ver
afraid,
o que ele responde.
Miss Reed is very fragile since the police brought her back home.
The police? What happened?
Miss Reed was found walking in the streets. She kept saying she had spoken with her son and daughter. She's resting now.
Ela está recebendo cuidados
Has she
médicos.
received appropriate medical care?
I'm taking care of Miss Reed myself. Hospitals are so overwhelmed by the epidemic that they can only accept patients infected by influenza.
Legal.
Perhaps we could arrange a short trip. Somewhere sunny, like France. She has always been very fond of France. I think leaving London could do her good.
I'm afraid Miss Reed is too frail for the moment. Recently, she started going out at night without remembering it. I have to watch her carefully.
Porra, a velha costuma andar por lá sozinha, cara. Que doideira. É,
I'm
funeral da
sorry
Mary,
I
como
couldn't
foi?
be here for Mary's funeral.
Your mother was strong, sir, but your support would have been appreciated. Apart from the priest and I, no one else attended your sister's funeral.
To be present at the funeral with you both was my dearest wish, Avery. But I'm sorry, I simply could not attend.
I would not dare to question your absence, Mr. Jonathan. All I can say is that we missed you a great deal during these difficult days.
What is the
Tá louco, ele
situation?
mora num puta casão, velho.
For a time, the West End seemed
Tem
spared
problema
by
na
the
casa dele,
epidemic,
velho.
but the situation is getting much worse.
Have you no relatives anywhere? I'll understand if you want to take a few days to see family.
Your father managed to guarantee my earnings as long as I take care of this house, sir. My sisters are dead, and I've never met my nephews. I'll
Porra!
stay, sir.
Tell me the truth, Avery. Do you feel forced to stay here? Would you leave this house without the arrangement made by my father?
No, sir. I have nowhere else to go. And I promised your father I'd take care of his family as long as I live.
This house is dead, Avery. There is a curse on this family. You really should consider leaving.
If only you could have been here sooner or more often. Maybe this house would not be that empty. But you're here now, sir. So my task is not over.
Porra!
You have served this family extremely well, Avery. Your support during these terrible times is much
O
appreciated.
cara é o mordomo da casa, tá ligado?
All I ask is that you take care of my own funeral if I die before the end of the epidemic. No mass grave, please, sir.
Do you really think I don't take enough care of my mother, Avery?
Yes, I do, Mr. Jonathan.
You clearly have something more to say. Speak your mind, Avery.
I know you were
Cara, força a barra, mano.
sick, but what will you do once the epidemic is over?
My home is here, and I have nowhere else to go. But this house will need some improvements if I move here. Some radical changes.
That's good news. Whatever changes you have in mind, I'm sure we will find an arrangement that suits your mother also.
Demorou então. Modifica a casa que eu volto pra casa, hein? Mais nada aqui, mais nada aqui, mais nada
Goodbye.
aqui. Valeu!
Please watch over my mother until I return.
Of course, Mr. Jonathan. but please return as soon as possible.
Fechou, então. Poxa, isso aqui é minha casa, vai casar com bagulho já, velho. Vamos lá de novo, vamos tentar ir naquela... Vamos encontrar a casa da Emily de novo, mano. Pela última vez, velho. Se eu não conseguir, eu desisto, eu pego outra missãozinha. Vou pegar a missãozinha do gourmet lá, né? Aquele... O gourmet solidário, tá ligado? Não entendo onde tá a casa dela, literalmente, não. Eu buguei aqui, literalmente. Quando eu buguei com gosto. Ai, doeu. Filho da mãe, sai fora. Mano, pra não ter nem pra onde eu ir, tá ligado? Você na orelha, velho. Pra não ter nem pra onde eu ir, tá ligado? Porque, velho, pra onde eu vou, não tem lugar pra não ter saída, velho. Não mostra a casa daquela moça. Só se a casa da Emily foi a mesma casa daquela moça, tá ligado? Ok, então as coisas acabam se encaixando ainda. Mas eu acho que não é. Tem que entrar na casa da moça aqui pra poder vasculhar a casa da Amy. Pra poder encontrar a casa dela, eu preciso entrar na casa. Agora eu preciso ter o nível 4, né? Acho que eu tenho só o nível 3 só. Depois tem que fazer essa missão da Emily, então. Vamos... Vamos fazer então a próxima parte, então. Não vou fazer nada disso aí não. Vamos ir na missão principal mesmo? Que se dane, que tá dando trabalho demais, velho. Puta que eu pariu. Eu quero aumentar meu nível, mas tá difícil, mano. Os caras não deixam. Ai, ai. Então vamos lá, vambora, vamos pra pessoa principal mesmo, em Kizidane, mano.
Do you
Nossa,
know
tá
where
tudo
you're
branco.
standing right now?
In front of the Ascalon Club, I presume.
The Ascalon Club only summons or ostracizes. What is your business tonight?
I received an invitation. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reed.
Esse cara tudo arrumadinho, tudo bonitinho.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr. Reed. Please proceed. Lord Redgrave is waiting on you upstairs.
É, normal, cara, vamos ver.
There has been quite a battle here. I'm sure the Ascalon Club has the money to replace the furniture.
Caraca, deixa eu mudar uma coisa pra esse cara aqui.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, then, Dr.
Esse cara só repete o que eu falo. Isso que fode. No andar superior, beleza. Deixa eu então, aqui, deixa eu cutucar. Puxa, mano, a galera ali, velho, que medo. Vambora. Mó galera, mano.
Good evening.
Eita lasqueira.
My good friends, if I may have your attention. Behold our visitor, the good Dr. Reed. Newborn of blood so pure and strong that even my friend Fergal Bancher was no match for him.
Tá, porra, mano. Tô fudido. Tô
Come
gosto
forward,
de um
young
monte de
Ekon,
vampiro, mano.
for we have so much to discuss. Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. I am Lord Redgrave, Earl of Bristol and chairman of this exclusive association.
Lord Redgrave.
At last we meet. I've been eager to make your acquaintance. I've heard some astounding things about you. Please accept my condolences for your loss, Dr. Reed.
Thank you, my
Deixa eu
lord.
ver quem é. Jogando Helena, né, mano?
Lady Ashbury expressed your wish to meet me.
Yes. The lady has always been a useful acquaintance, though not always reliable. Is she a good friend of yours?
Pera aí, galera. Eu
Yes,
admiro.
I may even say I admire her probity and her kindness. She has helped me since I was reborn.
The centuries have taught me never to trust a woman completely, especially if she is a mortal. Too prone to emotions, if you ask me. Too fickle when it comes to important decisions.
My lord, do not expect me to speak ill of Lady Ashbury.
Of course not, and I praise your loyalty. Would you offer the same fidelity to the Empire?
What do you mean?
I speak of the Skull Plague that threatens London and the country. You have been on the front line in the East End, but the time has come to open up a second front here.
The epidemic has escaped the quarantine. You have new cases of the outbreak.
We don't know for certain, but we cannot allow the disease to threaten the prominent heads of Great Britain.
Why do you suddenly need me?
The Ascalon Club only recruits the best, and you definitely fit the bill. Your scientific and medical reputation alone would qualify you as a candidate.
You want me to find possible sources of the outbreak in the West End? Is that it?
Ah, straight to the point, like all eager newborns. We shall have time to talk about all this, Dr. Reed, but first, I should like to get to know you better.
Talk? Is that the only reason you asked me here?
Well, no. I also wanted to meet the intriguing Ekon who made such a powerful progeny of his sister. You have not learned the name of your maker, am I correct?
Vambora, vambora.
It's of no concern of yours.
Have no embarrassment, Dr. Reed. We all make mistakes. But whatever your lineage, you are definitely Ascalon material.
What do you mean?
I would like you to become a member of the Ascalon Club, and to serve me as such.
Before I accept, I have so many questions.
Please ask.
What does it mean to be a member of the Ascalon Club?
It means that you swear to protect the interests of the Crown, that you become a loyal servant of the British Empire.
Am I supposed to follow orders?
As founder and chairman of the club, I alone am entitled to make demands of our members. And I do appreciate obedience.
Do you have any official recognition from the government? A charter from His Majesty the King?
No. Of course, the Ascalon Club publicly supports the Empire, but the true nature of its members remains a secret.
What is the Ascalon Club's express purpose?
We follow the credo of William Marshall, the greatest knight who ever lived. As was he, we are sworn to protect the British Empire.
What does Ascalon mean?
Ascalon was the lance wielded by St. George, glorious patron saint of England when he slew the dragon. And like that lance, we pierce the hearts of all our nation's enemies.
Tá bom. William Marshall fundou a...
Not exactly. William Marshall granted me immortality, and I founded the club a few years later. The good knight has been gone for so long.
I killed Fergal, who claimed to be one of yours. Sent to cleanse the East End of all skulls.
Fergal.
Will his death be an issue?
Do not worry. My priorities have changed. Fergal was a zealous servant of mine, but like any servant, he had his limitations and is readily replaced if necessary.
Porra!
I agree to join the club.
This is good news. Good news indeed in these crucial times. Let's inform the Assembly formally and proceed with your initiation.
My initiation?
Fear not. Nothing fancy nor dangerous. It is just that we, the members of Ascalon, believe that tradition and custom are the backbone of this country.
Porra!
My fellow members, dear friends, please gather and welcome this Ekon as one of our own.
Is he worthy? Is his blood pure?
Well, speak, Dr. Reed, in front of the most sacred blood. The blood of our beloved William Marshall, speak now. Will you serve and protect the crown as he did?
Yes, I will.
Que pariu, vai dar bosta isso, mano.
Then, young Ekon, it is time to testify with your blood. It is time to sign the Book of Allegiance. I know it's awfully gothic and a tad pedantic, but England's traditions are the backbone of our nation.
Cara, sugou meu sangue ainda. Fela da puta. Meu sangue é meu, porra.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club, Dr. Reed. Take your place among the bearers of the lance.
One of us! One of us!
I personally went patrolling last night in
Beleza, beleza, agora eu posso sair explorando por
foreign
aí.
econs. This is an outrage. We shall chase these intruders down. I was chased by a gigantic falcon 2 nights ago. I thought it was Virgil coming back, but no.
Senhor desconhecido.
Good evening, Dr. Reed. How does it feel to be this evening's centerpiece? Figuratively.
I feel perfectly fine. Do I have cause for concern?
Do not be alarmed. The Ascalon Club has a tried and tested policy for choosing its initiates.
May I ask who you are, sir?
Why would you be interested?
Well, as you seem to be the only man in the room with a beating heart, you draw quite a bit of attention yourself.
Ah, vampire senses never cease to fascinate me.
Correto, cara, ainda bem que você sabe.
I am Aloysius Dawson, by the way.
Mr. Dawson, of Dawson and Dawson, the wealthiest man in England. It is a pleasure to meet such a prominent figure of London.
A withering London figurehead, to be precise.
Are you sick, Mr. Dawson? I am a doctor, you know.
My case is beyond the scope of traditional medicine. I have spent fortunes on the world's most competent doctors to arrive at that diagnostic conclusion.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. Should I suppose that you're here in search of some form of immortality?
Absolutely not. I'm here to implement my plan to save the city I was born in. To cast out the ghastly evil that has us all on our knees.
Money cannot solve every problem. This mysterious epidemic is going to require more than money can buy.
You're right. Money is nothing unless one has the will to wield it. I have a plan, sir. A radical one that will save all that is essential in London.
What is your plan, then?
Quarantine and barricades are futile. What we need is a wall. A formidable, unscalable wall to isolate the deserving from the infected masses.
But that would segregate the rich from the poor, would it not? It would be unjust.
Our only course of action must be to save England. And to save England, we have to make sacrifices.
Are you not mistaking sacrifice for summary execution?
Why do you care? Are you not a vampire? Removed from all mortal concerns? Decisiveness is what the city needs. And it needs it now.
Você é louco, rapaz. Sai fora. Doentão da cabeça. Tem uma coisa aqui, cara. Eu tô bem embaixo de uma...
Have you heard the rumors of some?
um lugar, cara. Deixa eu ver. Não. Chave para o porão de escalão. Abre o porão lá então. Apesar que eu tenho como ignorar a cutscene, né? Então eu tenho que falar com aquele cara lá. Então vamos descer lá no porão. Que eu acho que é no porão que eu tenho que ir. Deixa eu ver se tem alguma coisa aqui. Ah tá, tem a história de escalão. Deixa eu ver aqui então. Bom, a porta foi destrancada. Vou descer lá já. Tá, não tem mais nada aqui, vamos descer. E ali, para lá do outro lado. Eu pego então um colecionável. Só tem um colecionável aqui, mano. Nossa, que bagulho chato, velho. Você tá me tirando. Tá marcando tudo, eu tenho que.
Welcome to the Ascalon Club.
Ó, quero te falar isso, velho. Caracas. Adaga boa. Mais uma arma. Porra, achei o bagulho que tem que achar, velho. Tá, vamos adicionar essa aqui que acho que vai mudar alguma posição, alguma coisa aqui dentro do
It is always
estabelecimento, tá
useful to
ligado?
bolster the troops' morale, especially before a difficult battle.
You have the makings of a general, my lord.
I was, though very long ago, well, not quite a general, but a proud defender of the crown.
So why did you really want to meet me?
Straight to the point again, young Ekon. All right, let's talk, you and I, Lance Sparrow.
I'm listening, my lord.
According to my spies, you have worked with Dr. Edgar Swansea on the epidemic, and your findings were quite alarming.
Beleza, então bora lá.
You were spying on me.
Not personally. I rarely leave this building. But once he found you, Fergal kept me informed. Until you put me in transmission.
Who was Fergal? I don't see him sipping tea with the others in the club.
Fergal Banshire was my squire of sorts. Even before becoming that magnificent beast, he was a brute. He served me well for decades.
No, I mean, what was he? He was clearly no ordinary vampire.
No, he was a Volcod. All muscles and instinct. Quite the rare breed. Ferociously territorial. Mortals often mistake them for werewolves.
Caraca, véi.
You do know I killed him.
Yes.
Will you bear ill will towards me for his death?
Of course not. Your victory was quite impressive and courageous. You earned my respect.
Do you know Edgar Swansea?
Not personally, but I've been told he has some sort of immortal fetish and is a good friend of yours.
Does it bother you that I consider him my good friend?
As long as you reveal nothing of the club's inner workings, why should I forbid you engaging in conversation with the good Dr. Swansea?
Yes, I'm convinced the recent invasion of frenzied Scals in London is directly linked to the epidemic. This is not the Spanish flu, but something else.
I would be glad to hear more of your discoveries, Dr. Reed, but for now, my main concern is the security of London's inhabitants, both mortal and immortal.
What do you mean?
Alarmed by the epidemic, the Guard of Prewen has started a war against us British vampires. To appease the situation, we must eradicate the Scals.
Scals, então... Deixa eu ver aqui então. Scals são criaturas malévolas, alguns Scals são pacíficos.
I have met peaceful and wise Scals. To exterminate them means we are no better than vampire hunters.
Scals are hideous, shameful creatures that give all Ekon a bad name.
So, what do you want me to do?
I want you to investigate the city thoroughly. I have reason to fear there are cases of contagion in this part of town. Our absolute priority is to find and cleanse them.
And how would you like me to proceed?
By all means necessary, Dr. Reed. You are now a member of the Ascalon Club and you have carte blanche. Interrogate the locals, follow all the leads you find, and get results.
Nível de enfeitiçar. Tá. Aumentei o meu nível de enfeitiçar então. Esses caras não precisam conversar com nenhum. Eu preciso conversar com esse doido aqui. Fechou então, mano. Vou vazar aqui. Tá, beleza. Sai perguntando pros habitantes locais, né? Tô olhando aquele vendedor, vou naquele outro cara lá. Ele já fica tudo em ordem já, eu acho. Vamos ver qual vai ser a boa dos caras agora, né, velho? Brincadeira, maluco. Eu adoro me atrapalhar nessas paradas. Mas demora pra carregar, mano. Agora eu tenho que falar com todos os... Pô, habitantes locais, tá? Então habitantes locais que eu preciso ver, tá?
I think Lord Redgrave just suggested I was sired by an ancient vampire.
Agora acho que tem como invadir aquela casa lá rapidão, lá, fazendo pergunta pra aquela moça lá, pera aí. Fazer aquilo é já. Agora isso aqui? Eu acho que tem como eu fazer agora. Aqui agora eu acho que aumentei meu nível de mente aqui agora, tá? Deixa eu verificar antes. Isso aí. Manipulador de mente nível 4. Vou manipular aquela mente daquela moça lá da ponta. Caraca, mano, esse pode ouvir dói a orelha, velho. Bora. Vamos ver se eu consigo ter acesso a coisa aí.
Jonathan, you're still up. Can't you just knock at people's doors during the day?
I'm sure you can spare me a few minutes. For old time's sake.
Of course you may enter, Jonathan. I'm so sorry for your loss, Jonathan.
Casa dos Crowsley, tá? Perfeito.
I remember when Mary came here with her husband and her son.
Ponto. Gelins, pedir algumas coisas. Anel, esse aqui deve estar.
At least you survived the Great War.
Beleza. Peguei essa aqui também, vou falar com ela então.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Venus.
So you returned from the war in one piece too. Thank God. My Clarence is back home too.
How is the old rascal?
Probably outside, chasing ghosts and chimeras. Clarence has changed a lot since he returned from the war, you know.
Deixa eu perguntar, então vamos ver perguntas pessoais, vamos por parte.
Tell me about Clarence's obsession with vampires.
It drives me so crazy it makes my stomach hurt. I was so relieved to have him back. I quickly realized he'd lost his mind in France.
I understand your irritation, Venus. But you have to accept the trauma Clarence endured on the battlefield.
The question is simple, Jonathan. Is my husband mad? Yes or no? Do vampires exist? Or is Clarence a lunatic?
Não é dos dois.
The important question is, what do you really think of your husband?
I'm tough, Jonathan. He should have told me the horrors he witnessed, however appalling it was, instead of inventing a fantasy about blood-drinking monsters.
So you don't believe Clarence?
If poor Mary, bless her soul, had tried to convince you of the existence of bloody vampires, would you have believed her? Seriously?
Vida em Londres.
Venus, why do you worry so much about your family's reputation?
Everyone laughs at Clarence now. And they avoid me because they believe I share his insane opinions. I'm a leper in my own community.
How have you been since the last time we met? How long has it been? 3 years now?
I've done my duty, like all British women. You have no idea what it was like to wait for months without knowing if I'd still be a wife or a widow.
I understand. Luckily, this part of town has been saved from the worst of the bombings, from what I've seen.
Caraca, velho.
And it's also true about the epidemic. The flu has killed here too, of course, but not on such a large scale as in other parts of town.
Have you noticed anything peculiar about the neighborhood recently?
You mean except for your return to town? No. Oh, and again, Jonathan. Please accept my condolences for your sister.
Thank you, Venus. It was so sudden. And I've been so busy, I haven't spoken to anyone about it.
I wish I could have assisted at the funeral, but you know, it's been so quick. And what with the epidemic in the streets?
There's no need to apologize, my dear. It's normal, considering the circumstances.
No, it's not. I am sure that Clarence has not even thought to present you his condolences. He is too busy with his penny dreadful stories.
Why is my return so surprising?
It's more an unexpected happy end than a surprise. You and Clarence, back from the war. You have no idea how hard it's been for me.
Imagino sim, moça. Vamos aqui que eles precisam mais uma pergunta para você.
I'm investigating the source of the epidemic in this district.
Investigação local. Nossa, engasguei pra caracas agora, velho.
I heard they locked themselves in their own house.
They could just be afraid of getting sick.
Perhaps you're right. But if I were you, I'd pay them a visit. A big house, reachable through a courtyard, to the north of the railway bridge.
Goodbye for now.
I remember when Mary came here with her husband and her son. They were such a
beautiful family. Subir aqui. Tem coisas aqui legais. Esse show, tipo isso. E era essa janela que eu precisava. E a janela que eu precisava, velho. Fechou, achei o que eu queria. Tato ferroso. Vamos terminar essa parada.
No invitation is needed to enter this building. That can't be a good sign. No sign of a struggle. It seems Charlotte's friend knew the killer and let him in.
Meus queridos, carta de amor da Emily. Meus queridos, Jakes, eu estou ansiosa para ver novamente. Inteiramente sua.
Emily wanted to become a vampire. Something must have gone wrong. Someone is responsible for this mess. But who? Blood.
Caraca.
I should follow the trail.
Moeu. Faz o seguinte então, bom que eu já consegui o que eu queria nessa parte do jogo. Então vamos descer, tá? Vou fazer o seguinte, galera. Eu vou voltar lá na minha casa do personagem e vou salvar o game, tá? Porque é o seguinte, eu vou finalizar, vou finalizar minha live, mas antes de eu finalizar minha live aqui, eu vou lá correndo lá na minha casa e ver o que dá pra fazer. Sacou o tom? Deixa eu ir pra cá. A casa é logo aqui, ó. Mansão dos Raids, tá? Então eu vou subindo. Porra, tem uma mansão, maluco. Perfeito, 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 perfeito. Vamos deitar na cama e vamos dormir. E da upgrade no meu personagem também. Eu tenho 2.860 de experiências, tá? Então, nível 19. Vamos ver se eu consigo aumentar umas coisas aqui que são altamente necessários, tá? Preciso de algumas coisas que eu uso muito. Por exemplo, eu acho que eu vou aumentar. Aumentar isso aqui, cara. Isso aqui é essencial pra mim, velho. De um jeito que vocês não têm noção do que é essencial pra mim, cara. É nível 2 esse negócio. Pô, vou ter que testar essa névoa sombria, velho. Tem que ver como que funciona. Nível 2 não Peraí, nível 2, nossa, o próximo é nível 3, velho. 1000 pila. Deixa eu ver nível 2, nível 2, nível 2, nível 3, tá bom. Acho que esse aqui agora, nível 100, né? 600 pila, tô com 800, pego ele. Fechou, aumentei minha capacidade de sangue, foi para nível 21, tudo ok, tudo certo. Bora, tá? Eu peguei as coisas que eu mais uso aqui por enquanto. Deixa eu confirmar minha habilidade aqui, já era. Ô Miguel. Então vamos ver como que tá a situação do pessoal aqui. Por enquanto tá tranquilo, cara. Do pessoal que eu conheci aqui tão de boa e tão tranquilo. Esse cara que tá com enxaqueca aqui, que eu acho que eu não tenho cura pra enxaqueca, tá? Vamos ver aí, não é nada aqui, não é alteração. Tá. Tem uma alteração aqui, cara. De fadiga, enxaqueca, nefralgia. Tá bom, tá estável, certo? E tá ótimo também, tá sendo uma cefaleia. Aquela velhinha. Vou botar um pulo lá pra dar um help, tá? Então isso é só, cara. Vamos voltar então. Se tirar daquele jogo, daquele. Beleza então, galera. Então foi o seguinte, galerinha. Eu vou ficando por aqui, tá? Eu espero que vocês tenham gostado da minha live. Voltarei amanhã no mesmo horário, tá? Em torno de umas 10, 11 horas mais ou menos, eu tô de volta, tá? Aí a gente continua a nossa gameplay de Vampyr, belezinha? Então até mais e foi nessa, tá? E se você que tá assistindo aí, cara, as lives vai piorar no YouTube, tá? Então se inscreva no canal e me siga nas minhas redes sociais, beleza? Tá todos os links lá, tá? É nóis, valeu, falou, fui!